Hello everyone, welcome in for the SWX Extra Point. I'm your host, Quinn Carey, joined here by some members of the Gonzaga Volleyball team. We have Coach JT Wenger here, Maggie Rickert, as well as Nia Damuni here joining us. Guys, thanks so much for taking time to be here with us today.
Thanks for bringing us on.
Yeah, thank
absolutely.
you.
So just to start, just kind of going through, I just want you guys to introduce yourself to our audience. Give me a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and how you ended up at Gonzaga on the volleyball program.
Nia, you want to get us going?
Yep. My name is Nia Damuni. I'm a senior setter from Providence, Utah, and I have 6 siblings. I have a big family. I love volleyball, grew up around a lot of sports. And how I ended up at Gonzaga, I feel like we always tell our stories together. It's so funny, but I didn't really think I was going to be outside of Utah. I wanted to stay in Utah, and I just got recruited out of a tournament. The coach had seen me walking by my court and then sent me an email. I thought Gonzaga was on the East Coast, so I never heard of Spokane or Gonzaga other than basketball. Right. But I came here for a tournament. It ended up lining up with what my club season was, and so I came here on a visit, and I loved it, and so awesome. Yeah, been here since I was a freshman.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you, Maggie, how did you end up here? I know you're coming from Utah and you coming from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm from Nashville. I grew up in Michigan originally. So similar to Nia, when I was going through my recruiting process, I was naturally looking at a lot of schools, both in Michigan and in Tennessee. But same thing, the coach saw me at this was our old coach before JT was here, saw me at a tournament, reached out, and then I came on my visit, and yeah, sort of like Nia, just fell in love with the campus and the community. We always say almost every staff member that you meet either went to Gonzaga themselves, their husband or wife, or their kids, or it's just a big family. They're a huge community, so that was one thing that really stuck out to me.
Awesome. And Coach, you're here now entering your second season, came from UT Arlington before. Just kind of take me through the process of how you ended up here in Spokane as well.
Yeah, I've had long coaching background at this point, having been at UCLA, Colorado, Michigan State, then a long time as a head coach at UT Arlington. The opportunity to come to Gonzaga was one that I wasn't going to pass up. Spokane was on my radar, my wife's radar, for a long time also, just kind of the right size city we wanted to live in, give it a try, and we're enjoying our time here.
Awesome. And just for all of you, and as I ask these, if you guys have something, I might ask it specifically to one of you, but if you got something else to chime in, feel free to jump in. Looking at last year, you guys had the best record that the program's had in over a decade. What were some of the factors that contributed to that, and then what are you looking to build on this year to kind of grow that success?
Okay, from a player perspective, obviously the coaching change made a big difference, even just from 1 year having JT and Kenzie, Tatum, Claire, all the coaches. I would say they all have great experience, great backgrounds. That definitely helped a lot. And then obviously they brought in a lot of girls and helped the girls that were here before improve in their skill set, and overall just made the team dynamic on and off the court. It just, everything flowed really well. So it was really nice to see being in the middle of it and kind of being able to see both sides of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going off that with college athletics, there's a lot of change and stuff, and so being able to a new coaching staff, they brought in a lot of just different things for our play, and so us just being willing to take what we've learned before and just try new things and be able to adjust to the different coaching, and they had a lot of good things that they brought in, so yeah, I think that helped a lot with our wins and the quality of play.
That's great. And Coach, it can be hard when you come in with established players and players that have had experience and have had success, it can be hard to get buy-in, particularly in that first year. How were you able to get that last season?
Yeah, fortunately, I've had some experience coming into programs that were sort of in that state. So I think kind of reassessing priorities. I knew that we needed to have fun. That was important, that the gym was an enjoyable place to go to. And then, yeah, as the roles shift and move, I think just being flexible, and the athletes did a great job. You did. Of being flexible and being able to make changes and just be open-minded to some new concepts and some new philosophies, and feel very fortunate the way it worked out.
Awesome. And overall as a team, what are just some of the goals going into this season, your second season, and both of your final seasons here at Gonzaga?
I'll start. It's always a hard question. I think it's tough to put goals on a season, especially before we play an actual match, to know where we're at and where we're going. I think for us to build on the success of last year, to continue to play better and better volleyball, higher level volleyball, going into a league where we're going to see consistent high-level volleyball night in and night out, which West Coast Conference has a great history of volleyball as well, but at least for my experience last year, it was a little up and down, whereas this year I think it's going to be, every night's going to be tough. I do think that we have more pieces, and I think that's just philosophically in the gym we have more people. The whole gym is aligned with what we're trying to do and what we're capable of, and what kind of volleyball we're trying to play. So from that standpoint, I think we're better prepared than we were a year ago. But the challenges will be great still.
Nia, Maggie, anything to add to that?
Yeah, just like going into our final year, I think obviously everyone wants to win a championship and like win their conference, so that's a goal, but also I think just like working hard every day and like maxing out this last year, and like no matter what happens at the end of the season, I think we'll be pretty satisfied knowing that we like gave our all and worked hard in the gym. So. And
speaking of the transition to the new conference, entering the Pac-12, what is the excitement level around that, and then what are some of like the things you're excited about, as well as what are some of the challenges that you're going to face in the new Pac-12?
This is a good question. Obviously, being a senior, to me at least, it kind of doesn't feel like senior year, just because there are 4 years here. Like obviously we've had coaching changes, we've had now a conference change, so it's almost like each year has kind of felt like a new start, which in some ways has honestly been really refreshing, just because college athletics can get very repetitive. So I'm personally really excited to be in a new conference, like fresh slate, like nobody really knows what to expect, so I think it's going to be really awesome. And we have a lot of new girls, and we're getting into the flow of things with the new coaches, new girls, so I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, love that. I also think like it's pretty cool opportunity that we get to go into the Pac-12, and I think like it's like history in the making. It's cool that we get to be a part of like being the last year in the WCC and then being able to go into a new conference, and it's gonna be cool. Like I saw like a Facebook post from this like older person in the Gonzaga community, and they said like, man, well, no more St. Mary's versus Gonzaga. Like it's been like a thing that's been going on for like 70 years. Yeah. I think it's gonna be cool to create new rivalries and just like put our name on the map like nationwide, like more than just WCC like basketball. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a cool opportunity for sure.
Absolutely. Coach, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. The broader footprint of the Pac-12, the new Pac, I think is exciting. And, two foes from the revamped West Coast Conference with Oregon State and Washington State, of course. Mm-hmm. But I think adding Boise State, having some regionalism in this league, I think is pretty cool for this area.
Yeah, totally agreed. And looking at, we'll talk about it here in just a moment about some of the ways that people can come out and watch you guys here in person in Spokane. But the other cool part about the Pac-12 is that they are offering for conference games this year. They're all going to be streamed live on YouTube for free. So if you are watching at home, you want to be able to watch a game. If you can't get to the Gonzaga's campus there in person, you can go online and watch on YouTube for free all of the games in the Pac-12. Are there going to be any more that are broadcast on YouTube or other ways outside for those non-conference games? Is there any other way to be able to watch those?
That's a good question. I think they're both being streamed. That's my understanding, although we would have to confirm that. But non-conference is always a little spotty, unfortunately. But fortunately for our home stuff, we will be streaming everything, even out of conference.
Awesome. And then the exciting part for the non-conference is that I was looking at, you guys have 4 total tournaments, 2 of which are going to be right here in Gonzaga. So just talk about some of those teams that you guys are going to see and excitement level and all of that around those tournaments being here locally.
Yeah, well, we open up on the road this coming weekend, of course. So we're playing at St. Mary's and Cal, but we're not playing either of those teams, as we'll be playing Southern Utah Pacific, so West Coast Conference foe from years ago, and UC San Diego, which is kind of up-and-coming program with UC San Diego, a couple new head coaches in that group. That'll be a lot of fun. And then our home opener that weekend, do you guys know who we play?
Oral Roberts, Fullerton,
Cal
and
State Fullerton.
Eastern Washington, I think.
You got it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So they have an opportunity to come out and watch some games in person here if you're here
Yeah.
in Spokane. Come check out the team. And then if
Yep.
you are watching the Pac-12, you can check it out on YouTube for free. You can stream all of those games through Pac-12 YouTube is where that will be from, correct?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, and then just going through a couple things, Nia, Maggie, just a couple of questions for you guys specifically, just on the court. Nia, for you, last year led the team in assists as a junior. You moved into 4th all-time in rally scoring, which I want to ask about what is rally scoring for those of us that don't know. And then also 8th all-time in assists. How have you been able to just maintain that level of consistency and then improve year in, year out in your time here at GU?
Yeah.
Loaded question, a lot there.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about the last part, the consistency part.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, like, I guess even in the last year, I feel like my play has really, like, leveled up with the new coaches being able to just, like, play free, and we have a lot of freedom on the court. And so I think over the past 3 years, one of the biggest things that I think, like, I play with is just, like, poise. So just being able to, like, stay calm and like through adversity and in like tough situations. So in our first 2 years, even though we weren't like getting the wins, I think it was like good for me to play like through adversity. And then now even when we are up, I'm still able to like stay consistent and stuff. So
That's great. And then back to the beginning part of the question
Yeah.
for me, 4th all-time in rally scoring. What is rally scoring, and how did you get so good at it?
okay, JT, you want to?
Sure, I'll handle this one. So
Okay,
rally
perfect.
scoring came onto the scene about 25 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And so now, back when people of my generation were playing volleyball, you had to be serving in order to earn a point. Going into the rally score era, every time you serve a ball, a point is at stake. So even when you're not serving, when the other team serves, you receive serve. If you win that point, you get a point.
Gotcha. Okay.
As opposed to the old side-out scoring. So it's been a while. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's a good question. Good
That's
throwback.
great. I want to make
Yeah.
sure our audience, including myself, I love volleyball, but I
Okay.
saw that and I was like, I'm not sure if I exactly know what that means. So
Maybe we'll save the libero conversation for another day.
Hey, well, that's coming up here in just a moment. And then, Nia, last question for you, Maggie. I'll ask the same to you. Going into your final season here, what are some things that you've looked to improve on personally going into your final season?
Yeah, I think just obviously like there's all the volleyball aspects, like playing defense and just being able to like read the court as a setter and control the court. And I think that, and then going out of the program, I think just like leaving my mark. Hopefully my teammates remember us as being like good teammates and like good leaders. And yeah, I think there's a lot of like volleyball things that we're trying to improve on every day, but just like as a senior going out with a good like character and yeah.
All right, and then Maggie, moving on to you for some questions. Just going through some of your stats from last season, 153 digs, 92.3 serve receive percentage. You're playing the libero position, which is a little bit of a unique position. For our audience that doesn't know, take us through what you do. What are your responsibilities on the court?
Okay, so
I think you should start with your attire. That's the first thing.
Okay, yes. So the libero is the person on the court who's wearing a different color. Obviously, they kind of stick out because they're not wearing what everybody else is wearing. And the unique position with the libero is every time we have a certain amount of like substitutions per game. So if Nia was going to the front row and we wanted to put a hitter in, it would count as a substitution.
Right.
With the libero jersey, you can sub without it counting as a substitution. So you sub in for the middle, and it doesn't count against like the certain number of substitutions you have.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of like where it gets a little bit unique.
Yeah.
JT and I joke about this a lot. I'm kind of in a unique position because obviously I'm a senior, but I got recruited as an outside actually. So my first 2 years playing collegiately, I was an outside hitter, and then JT came in, and so my last 2 years I've been a libero. So kind of a unique position.
Yeah.
But the libero's main job is to play defense, or their only job basically is to play defense and then serve receive. Those are like the two main goals. So no attacking. So definitely a little bit different from what I'm used to, but it's been a good change.
Let's not understate how important it is for out-of-system setting and serving as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And how did you handle that transition? Because going from one position to a totally different position, that is, the focus is way different on what they're out there to do. How did you handle that, and what was that transition like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting position because I've played since I was 12 and I've been an outside hitter since I was 12, so definitely not something that I've had to handle before, but I would say most of the responsibilities of a libero an outside hitter also has to do. So an outside hitter has to play defense, serve, receive, and serve. So, and in our gym, we like everybody to know how to add a system set, so it honestly wasn't that big of a change. I would say the hardest thing for me was that like I don't get to score as many points, obviously.
Sure.
So that was like probably the hardest thing to overcome. But as far as like the position itself of being a libero, a lot of the things that you have to do overlap with one another. So it wasn't like too difficult.
Right. Well, you're sacrificing some individual stats for, it sounds like, kind of the good of the team and helping that flow. So that's really cool.
Yep.
And then same question to you going into your final season here. What has been your main point of emphasis for improvement entering your final season?
Yeah. Like JT mentioned, out of system setting has been a big goal for me because not something that I really had to do often as an outside hitter outside of practice. And then I would say I've really tuned into getting my serve down. I've really worked hard to get a consistent serve where I can kind of move it around and manipulate it where I want it to go. So that's been a big emphasis for me this year.
Awesome.
Thanks.
That's kind of where my line of questioning ends. The only thing I want to ask is for all three of you, is there any message that you want to give to our Spokane community, to your fans, before we enter the season here on Friday?
We would love to have more and more fan support. I think our gym, the space itself, we just improved dramatically with the new TerraFlex floor. We had some great supporters that help us put that together, and it really increases it just improves the space from a visual standpoint, and it's great for the athletes. So to see it in person is great. To come see the athletes do their thing, the athleticism is incredible. As Maggie and Nia mentioned, we added some new athletes this year, and physically we definitely are impressive in terms of our length, in terms of our jumping ability. So it's a fun product to watch, and they work super hard, and it's a great team to get behind.
Awesome. And again, they will be kicking off their season this Friday on the road, traveling to St. Mary's for their first tournament. We'll be back here in Spokane for 2 tournaments at Gonzaga, and then when their Pac-12 conference season starts, you can watch all of the games for free on YouTube at the Pac-12 conference YouTube page. So that's going to do it here for us today on the SWX Extra Point. Coach JT Wenger, Maggie Rickert, Nia Damuni. I am SWX's Quinn Carey. Thank you guys so much for taking time to be here with us today. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having
Thank you.
us.